Good morning, everyone. This morning I wanted to talk about the NLP Communication Model. We take in so much information every day through our senses, and this can be overwhelming. We take in 11 million bits of information per second, and our bodies just can't deal with all of that information. So we take in information through our senses, through our eyes and through our hearing and through our taste and through our smell and through our touch. But in order to be able to deal with this amount of information that's coming in, we have to be able to manage it in our mind, or else we would go into overwhelm. So the way that we do this is that we generalize, distort, or delete the information that's coming in. So by generalization, I mean that we will put things into categories. So if we have, for example, seen in a room a whole lot of different furniture items, we will just group that into a whole. Or if we see a whole lot of books, like behind me, we would just categorize that as books. So we clump them into bigger pieces so that we can manage the information, so we don't get bogged down in the detail. When we distort things, this is where we will put our own spin on things to make it suit our model of the world. So often what is seen or heard or felt or smelt will not be the reality. We will put our own kind of interpretation on it. And deletion is where we just can't take in all of the information, so we just get rid of the stuff that's not important to us in order to be handling that amount of information. So what does come into our awareness is then filtered through various filters in our brain. And in NLP terms, we call this meta-programs. Now, don't worry about this too much. It's a bunch of things that we as humans do to be able to manage the information that's coming in. So, for example, we will all have our values, things that are important to us. So we will take up those things and prioritize them. We all have our beliefs where we feel that we can do something or we can't do something. And again, we will process that information through our filter. And we also have our memories of time and how we deal with those memories. Some people will have them firmly in a box and leave them there. Other people can recall them when they want to. And some people just leave them firmly in the past. So the other thing that we use within our filters is something called meta-programs. And meta-programs is how we interpret information. So, for example, you can be either an away from person or a towards person. So someone, for example, who is going to lose weight would, if they had a towards value system, they would lose weight in order to look good in that bikini going on holiday and be great on the beach, great looking on the beach. And away from person would be somebody who said, oh, I just look awful and I look so fat and ugly, I'm going to lose weight because I don't want to be that kind of person. So these are all the kind of filters that we use within our brain and mind to be able to cope with the information that's coming towards us. So what happens with all of that information? Well, as we process all of that, all of those things are going to influence our behaviours. So the information that comes in we'll be going through our generalizations, our distortions, and our deletions, and then we will filter all that information, and then that will result in our behavior. So if we take the example of the goal of losing weight, the behavior would be impacted by all of those things coming in. So a towards person, as I said, would focus on losing weight for a positive intent, whereas an away from person would focus on the negative drive forward. But either one will result in the behavior of the person, and that will be their motivation. So that's a little bit about the NLP communication model. It is a complex way of us operating in the world, but hopefully I've broken it down a little bit for you to be able to understand how we operate in the world.